what you'll on a semi-regular basis because of internet connectivity issues and light issues. So yeah. So again, so for those of you who are joining on YouTube Live, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you want to know what my life has been like here in Sierra Leone, then this is the video for you. We're going to talk about what the last couple of weeks have been like, give you an update since the last time I told you what was going on. I just want to give some time for people to come on YouTube because I realized the YouTube Live never went live. So it's going live now. Those of you on Instagram, I know that you guys said you can hear me. While we're waiting for people to join, let me know where you guys are watching from. I see a couple of familiar faces. Where are you guys watching from? Put your flag up or your country or your city so I know where you're watching from. HM Kwarla says, I want to go to Africa. What country specifically do you want to go to? Let me know. All in the Cut says, you in Freetown? Yes, I am in Freetown, Sierra Leone right now. Yes, I am in Freetown, Sierra Leone. All right, so some people are starting to join on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. A little unconventional today because the original live didn't go live as originally planned. So I was live on Instagram first. So I've been engaging on Instagram, and now you guys are all joining everywhere else. But I do want to get what cities people are watching from. All right. So we got Canada. Okay. Catherine is in Canada. Let's see. Omar is in Florida. Princess Leah is in Canada. A few Canadians on here. Nana's in Ghana, of course. Nana. HM Carla is thinking about moving to Ghana. Nice. Or Ethiopia. Real estate mogul J is in DC. Nice. I was in DC last year for a weekend. So Sangbei is in Columbia, South Carolina. What's up? What's up? Sangbei is in Columbia, South Carolina. Sharon Gooding says hello from America. Nene says hello from Maryland. Shout out to Maryland. I used to go to Silver Spring a lot, Laurel, Maryland. Spent a lot of time in Laurel and Silver Spring in 2000, 2001. I used to know how to drive between all those areas. Catherine Smith says, hello, Joe. Checking in from Houston, Texas. What's up, Catherine? Sharon Goodings from Pleasantville, New Jersey. Of course. Vic, my man Vic is calling in from New York City. What's up? Okay. So Foster's in Colorado, I think. CO just returned from UG. I would imagine CO meaning Colorado, or maybe is that another country? HM Carla says, this is my first live with you. I'm excited to know what's going on in the motherland. Nice, nice. I'm glad you've been able to join. I think I've seen you on the channel. Hi from Atlantic, Canada. That's Lily M. Lynch is in Canada. Okay, cool. So what's the last couple of weeks been like? So what was the last update I gave you guys? So I updated you guys on the solar situation. I updated you guys on the water situation. And to be honest with you, there hasn't been much new progress made in the last week. Because I am planning to move into my own place, the house that I'm building, the guest house that is already built, like clockwork, I'm getting a phone call while on live. My man Vic just sent the super chat, a super sticker. Vic, appreciate it. $19.99. Thanks for supporting the channel, Vic. Always supporting the channel. I appreciate you, Vic, my guy. So because I'm working on the house in Regent, I am in the process of figuring out solar, water, all the other things there. And it doesn't make sense for me to invest those funds in a temporary apartment right now. And so because of that, I have decided to allocate those funds elsewhere, which means that there are certain inconveniences that I'm going to have to deal with in the current place that I'm staying in, because I'm only staying there for maybe about 3 months. So what does that mean? So that means there's no backup source of power. So when the light goes out, the light goes out. Also, that means that because of the location and because of the internet service provider that we have, the internet's not that great. And so I have to do my live elsewhere. So I'm at a friend's house right now. This is the second time I've done it from here. Last week, I went live from Swiss Hotel. And shout out to Swiss Hotel because they let me go live in their place within 15 minutes of going live. I was able to speak to them and they allowed me to do so. So these are some of the things that you would have to think about. I think you need to ensure that you have these things prepared and ready before you make the move, right? And we've talked about this on many occasions, but I'll just mention it again because I think it's important. Especially for someone like myself who's been here so many times, for me to have made such errors in judgment and not thinking through, making sure all of that was available. I would want to make sure that you guys are all clear you have to do that. And thinking back to my time in Ghana, when I first moved to Ghana, I did have to ensure that I had 2 fiber services and I had 2 MiFi services. So like I'm using a friend's Orange MiFi right now, and this is my only source of internet right now, right? So if it decides to not work, then you guys aren't going to see this live anymore. So these are some of the things you have to think about. But I will say this last weekend was epic. It was an interesting weekend for sure, for a lot of reasons. But it was epic. It was a great weekend. So one of the things I love about being here in Sierra Leone, I'm very big on, it's not where you are, it's who you're with. But sometimes it is also where you are. And the group of friends that I have here are a really great group of friends. Like I have like a crew of friends in New York. I mentioned this before. Now a growing contingent in Atlanta, which many of them were people that I knew from LA. I have some friends in LA. And then I have friends in Ghana and I have friends in Sierra Leone, right? I have like this core crews of people in these different cities. And in Sierra Leone, the group is a group that I've gotten a chance to know over the last, 7 or 8 years or even longer for some of them. But the difference is that with many of them, my parents know their parents. I just lost the live. Okay, we back. Well, because Freetown is a small place, and my mom's one of my good friends here is lagging. I'm been told we're lagging. Sorry, the connection. As I said, connection's not the best. Let me keep at least hitting the MiFi to make sure it stays connected. So these are one of the challenges, right? These are some of the challenges that you deal with from time to time. But yeah, so anyway, my network here is a network that is well connected here locally, because one of the benefits of a country being this small and not so densely populated is that if you're anyone with any talent and any ability to work hard, you have the opportunity to meet people who are like-minded, right? And people are open to working with other people because we're all collectively trying to progress forward, right? And so if you're on the same wavelength and you all believe in some of the same things, these things can happen for you pretty quickly. And so that means that I have friends that are throwing a brunch and I get prime seating somewhere, or if I need to interview someone, I can ask someone and they just know the owner of this business and I can go interview them and get a tour of the location. If I'm applying for a company, I might know someone who works there in human resources, for instance, right? So, I think that that's the benefit to being in a country of this size, right? And so that, to me, I think has been great for me because it's allowed me to move quickly for a lot of different things that I want to do. I've interviewed some of our biggest artists here locally. I've been able to be in rooms that I probably wouldn't have been in other countries, like if I was in the States or in Ghana, for instance. And so those are some of the benefits. But you have some setbacks and some drawbacks too, right? So the reason why I think people here are so excited about working together and building together and introducing people to people and really trying to push things is because we have a lot of challenges that need to be fixed. So there's a reason that the atmosphere is the way it is, because there are challenges and things that need to be worked on. So it's a double-edged sword, right? The good comes with the bad. But overall, I think in general, I'm excited to be here, right? Because I'm seeing things develop and things move in a way that I hadn't seen when I moved to Ghana, and definitely not the way I saw when I lived in the States. All right. So let me see if there's some other questions, comments, and thoughts. Abu Bakar Kamara says, hello, Joe. Thanks for the good education for things happening in Africa. Of course, absolutely. Kwame says, hey, Joe and everyone. Hope you and everyone is well. All is well, Kwame. Andy G says, watching from Rwanda. Shout out to Rwanda. I know one Rwandan who actually just landed here yesterday. She just came in from Ghana, but she's Rwandan. And what I'm just discovering is that a lot of East Africa speaks Swahili, which is interesting. So you have the Kenyans, Rwandans, Ugandans. Many speak Swahili, which I was not aware of until like the last couple of months. All right, cool. Let me see what we got on Instagram. I don't want to be missing anybody. Give me a second here. Let me just kind of scroll through here. Instagram just goes so fast. I got to kind of scroll through and see what people are saying. Give me a second. Let's see. What do we got? Somebody did want to go live, and I was going to go live with you guys, but then you rescinded the request to go live. Does somebody want to go live with me today? Now that we're on YouTube, anybody on YouTube want to go live and talk to me? Ask me any questions live. If you're not too shy to be on camera and talk. Okay. HM Carla says, is it Carla or Carla? Says my foundation is in Benin. Nice. I haven't been to Benin or Togo. Those are neighboring countries to to Ghana, and I guess in between Ghana and Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't been to any of those, but those are on my list of places to go. But HM Carla said, I need assistance on my travels there, want to build housing and schools there. I might be able to have some resources for you. Definitely email me. My email address is you can DM me on Instagram since you're on Instagram. So Princess Leah says, do I think there is a legit opportunity for self-defense and fitness? Yeah, so this week I actually just posted last Thursday, and then also today I posted a video on Evolution Fitness, which is a lady by the name of Razia Kamara, who has a company that she works with, mostly women, actually only women, and she has classes that she does throughout the week. I also have posted an interview with Amina Kone, who also has she's a personal trainer. Her and her sister train many different varieties of women as well. I think namely her main customer base are the Lebanese, because she lived in Saudi Arabia and speaks Arabic. And I think that might be maybe the major difference, but both of them are trainers. And then there are other trainers here, and there are gyms here, but those are the two that I have interviewed specifically. So yes, there's definitely opportunity for that here. People are definitely fit, and especially the diaspora community who are here that work at the different embassies. You see a lot of them running up and down the beaches, and those people obviously have the income to be able to sign up for personal trainers, etc. Okay. Princess Leah, okay, I've already answered your question. Vin1911 says, how much does a U.S. citizen need to come to relocate to Sierra Leone when it comes to purchasing a home near Freetown? Nothing online. Okay, it's a good question. So if you want to purchase a pre-built house, there are houses going for $40K, $45K. I've seen those prices. I've also known if you want to build from scratch, it can be upwards of 50, 75, 100K. And you do not get mortgages here, you pay cash. Some people take out personal loans in the States and buy property here. Many others just pay cash along the way and build. I'm doing the pay cash along the way and build process, but I have a couple friends who've taken personal loans in the States, taken those personal loans, use that to build or buy a pre-made house, and then are just paying that back with their NGO job or their job in the States. So that's how some people do it. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. I'm definitely not a financial advisor, and I would tell you to consult a financial advisor or someone who is an expert in that industry who knows your finances before you make any decision like that. But those are some of the ways people do buy. But you can also buy plots of land for much cheaper, and you could probably build for cheaper. But obviously, it's expensive to be cheap. That's what they say. So obviously, the more in general, if you find a competent person who's worked on commercial buildings or other residential buildings, they are going to come with a cost of mostly for their labor. The parts generally cost the same unless somebody's kind of price gouging you on parts. But in general, is where the distinction is going to come into play is the labor piece, right? It's going to be the contractor that you're working with, what they're charging for labor. So that's something to take into consideration. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Vin 1911. Let's see, any other questions? Froster78 says gyms are taking off in Uganda. Not sure about the West though. I mean, there are gyms. I mean, we just opened a new gym here in Freetown called Royal Fitness. There's also Core Fitness. And there are other gyms. There's a gym on the beach, and I can't remember the name of it, on Lumley Beach. But there are gyms here in Sierra Leone for sure, and in Freetown in particular is what I'm speaking about. But yeah, I mean, even some of the hotels have gyms, right? Country Lodge has one. So yeah, I mean, there are definitely gyms. People want to stay fit. So yeah, I would say definitely there are gyms, and there is a market for that, especially when you're dealing with the expat community or the repats, as they're so often called. Sangbei says, have you been to the site of the toppled cotton tree? I have gone past it 3 times in a rush to get to a meeting, all 3 of those times. So I haven't been able to stop and actually stand at the site. But yeah, it's sad to see. I know, Sangbei, you went there as part of your citizenship ceremony. And unfortunately, I was not able to go before. I was able to go. I just never went before, or at least never took a picture in front of it. I've walked past it. I had to go to, I've had to be down in that area before, and I've walked across the street, walking around it and walking over. But I've never taken a picture in front of it. I don't have anything to memorialize my experience being there. I never had a tour where somebody talked me through it. But that is something that I'm going to do. So I think I mentioned this before. I want to do the history of the cotton tree, and I want to go there with an expert and someone to talk about what it means to us. I think on the last live, somebody asked about it, and I think the best way to equivocate what it might be like in the United States is like the Statue of Liberty falling in the United States, and what the Statue of Liberty means in the States is what the cotton tree meant to Sierra Leone. And so because it's fallen, I mean, people have cried about it. I've seen so many people discussing it. I've even had a comment of someone saying, one of my interviews I did is the reason why the cotton tree fell, which is wild. But yeah, so yeah, it does have a very a huge significance here in Sierra Leone. Anne-Marie Harding says, have you heard about TAF Global building homes in Sierra Leone? I have. I actually just had a conversation with some folks at Stafford Lodge about TAF. It looks like they're probably going to be buying a TAF, and I may look into it. That was, I think that's actually where the 40,000 number came from. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I just heard that number last weekend. Dory at Stafford Lodge had reminded me about what TAF is doing. So I'm looking to actually get in touch with them and interview them and do a tour. They're building a new office space on Wilkinson Road, and so they'll also be developing land and making sure that people are aware of it. So I would definitely be looking forward to going there, doing a tour, and potentially making a purchase. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. EKXM16 says, "How is the rain season this year?" So far, so bad, for sure. So, for those of you who aren't aware, most of West Africa, from what I understand, has two major seasons, right? Rainy season and dry season. Rainy season is anywhere between 3 and 5 to 6 months, light on either end, heavier in the middle. And it can start at different times. So rainy season has started officially kind of May, and it kind of goes all the way to sometimes even like October, November. Um, but it's there's been some torrential downpours. Like today, it started raining, and then the wind gusts that were coming was like, it was new. It was definitely new for me. Definitely something I hadn't really experienced before. I have never really been here through the whole rainy season. I've come and left as it was starting, or I've come at the end of the rainy season. I've been in Accra, Ghana during the rainy season, but Accra doesn't get a lot of rain like some of the other areas of Ghana. So I never fully got like a rainy season experience. But now being in Freetown, I'm starting to experience it. So EKXM16, come back and ask me that in a month, and I'll tell you what while we're in the middle of it. But I will say this: it can delay some outdoor work if you're getting stuff done on a house or whatever. Rainy season can delay things, and I'm told that during the rainy season, people stay home a lot, so it should be interesting. I can be probably really productive. Froster78 says, "Love your content. Got to run. Thanks." Well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I thank you for I'm glad you like the content. Vin1911 said, "Yes, sir. That helps a lot. Just got my Menday results back, and I couldn't find anything online. So it sounds like 100K should definitely be enough to get a suitable home. Do you suggest learning Creole?" So yes, 100K should be enough to build exactly what you want. Really, pretty much anywhere. I think with 100K you could do that. I will probably spend upwards of that for the 3-story, 3-family house that I'm working on with a rooftop section or area for entertaining. Do I suggest learning Creole? Yes, I suggest you learn Creole. It's very helpful. Just overall, it's just helpful. You know, if you're negotiating, you want to negotiate in Creole. It's a little bit easier. Even if you have an American accent, which I do, I'm reminded of that often. It helps a little bit to speak Creole. I am working on it for sure. I would say my Creole has a little to be desired, but you guys are going to see some videos coming in the weeks where I've definitely done vlogs about the land purchase and other things, and I'm speaking to people in Creole in those videos, which I don't normally do, but you guys will get a chance to see that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Let's see, any other questions, comments, thoughts from Instagram before I jump to the YouTube questions? All right, so let's go to YouTube. Let's see. Nene says, "With that kind of wind, I'm worried about high water. Are you?" You mean like flooding? Yeah, there's a possibility for sure. I am thinking about that in the place that I'm staying in currently. But in terms of where I live, we have proper drainage to ensure that that doesn't become an issue for us. So yeah, sea level rising. Yeah, okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah, it's the sea level rising. Possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, and you know, obviously, you see the effects of the sea level rising or depleting when you see all the stuff that's washed up on shore. So yeah, there's a possibility there for sure. And because there's a lot of, I don't know if you call it deforestation. I don't know what you call it on beaches when people take sand from the beach. I don't know if you call it. I'm not gonna sound ignorant and just make up a word. But anyway, there are people taking sand from the beaches and using sand for building. And so the beaches have been depleted of a ton of sand. So I think that there could be longer term effects for sure of like houses that are very close to the water. I've never been a fan of building really close to the water. Like in Miami, for instance, I just always think of like Venice, Italy, even though that's not really, I guess, I don't know. Well, Italy is kind of like a peninsula, right? but Venice is a city underwater, right? And so I've always thought about that. Like Miami will probably be a city underwater one day, maybe in the next, like 50 years or so. And so, or maybe even sooner, who knows? And so I just, those are things that I've always been concerned with. So I've never built right on the water. If anything, I build where I know that I can drive to the water within a reasonable time frame, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is, but I've never want to build on the water. All right, Tiggy says, "Hey Joe, good to see you." What's up, Tiggy? Good to see you too. Okay. What are updates do I want to give you? So I mentioned we didn't move forward with solar. We still haven't worked out the internet issue, and so hence I'm here. And for right now, we have light, which is remarkable. I'm excited about that. Listen, when I know I have light, it makes me smile. That's an exciting time. But yeah, so anyway, I am looking at different solar companies for my house. I have a meeting with a company this week to talk to them about what they're doing and potentially even working with them as an influencer. There's another update I can give you. I'm not going to say who specifically yet, but I met with a bank last week, and we have a verbal commit to work in 2 capacities, which I think is interesting. So you guys might remember a few weeks ago, I did like my full presentation on the offering that I have and how I can work with brands. And I broke it down to just a media kit, like a 10-page media kit, through the advice of a friend of mine who's gotten a couple of brand deals. And when I met with them, initially the meeting was just to be as a potential influencer. The great thing is they have a diaspora campaign that they're working on shortly, and they feel like I'd be a great person to be for the diaspora campaign, or a great representative for the diaspora campaign. And I already have a bank account with them, so maybe you can narrow that down if you remember any discussions I've had about who I bank with here on the continent. I bank with 2 companies right now, and so they're one of the companies I bank with. So there's a natural fit there. It's not like I'm going to be making anything up. I already bank with that bank, and I like a lot of what they do. I use their online banking, I use their app, and it's better than the other company I use, which I'm not going to mention. We had a great meeting, and so they want to use me as an influencer for the diaspora campaign, but then they also would like me to help them with their social media, because as you guys can see, my social media platforms have been growing over the last, 6 months or so, exponentially. I don't know if all of you are familiar, but with Instagram, I started the year out at 50K. I think we're at 89,000 now. So it's almost 40,000 new followers in 6 months on Instagram. And by the way, I don't use bot traffic or anything like that. You can probably tell from the engagement on the platform, real engagement. It's just, I've taken the energy that I used to put into a full-time job and applied directly to building this platform. And then YouTube obviously is a little slower growing, but TikTok has grown pretty tremendously. We're at 19K on TikTok. On YouTube and Twitter, we're at 8K each, or 8,100 on YouTube. And we're at 89K on Instagram. So and then across all platforms, we're over 140K. And so with that discussion, they asked me to help work with them on growing some of the social media platforms. So there's nothing set in stone yet. The ink isn't dried. We have a verbal commitment so far, but at the very least, those are conversations that I've been having, which I was not having in Ghana, right? I met with the person who runs marketing and PR for that particular bank after going to a press release or a press event for someone else that I happened to be covering it. And so I met that person there, and we were talking about potentially working together in 2 capacities. So that's the thing, right? When I first moved to the continent, I would always tell people the reason why I moved to Ghana instead of Sierra Leone was because I felt like I was going to be able to have a job opportunity easier. In fact, not that I felt like, that's what happened. I came to Sierra Leone for 2 months. There was really no traction on my day-to-day career in terms of a role that I could find. I got to Ghana, and within 3 months, I was full-time and fully employed full time as the head of advertising at Jumia, which is an e-commerce company based in 11 countries on the continent. And so that made the most sense for me then. Now being in Sierra Leone, now that my platform has grown, or now that I've been on the continent, I should say, for the last 2 years, now that the platform has grown, it makes more sense for me to be in Sierra Leone now, because now I can go talk to brands and there are no barriers to entry, right? I can go speak on my behalf and I can go speak to the folks who are decision makers, and have those conversations with them and actually potentially work on business deals, right? So that's the exciting thing about being here in Sierra Leone. Like I said, is that the marketplace is smaller, and you know, someone who is serious and who works professionally and follows up can really have success working here. All right. Any questions from Instagram? There's a lot of people joining. I want to just say what's up to all of you guys. All right, let's look at YouTube. So Nene Ba Fulani Girl says, I'm building close to the water. That's why I'm worried. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably made it more worrisome after what I just said about Venice and everything. There are people who are experts, though, in building on near water. And there's this whole thing like, think about Malibu. Malibu, their houses are on like giant pillars. Have you seen that in Malibu? So maybe there's something you should think about that. It's something you should think about in terms of that, like to ensure that you're well above sea level. That might be something you might want to look into. Like for instance, in Ghana and Abri, many people build their houses up a little bit, which I've seen because of like snakes and stuff. And they don't want snakes in the house. So their houses aren't actually on the ground. They've been built like up on platforms. So that's something you might want to consider if you're building on the beach and by the water. Sharon saying, congratulations. Thank you. I was just talking about the size of the social media growth this year. Thank you. I appreciate it. Jerry Campbell says, hey, Joe, tapping in from New York. What's up, Jerry? You were on Instagram, too. I just saw you join on Instagram, too. I like that you go back and forth between the platforms. Shout out to you, Jerry. Kay, I'll just say Kay. Hi, family. What's up, Kay? Kay says, has he mentioned if it's easier to repat to Sierra Leone than to other African countries? It's a good question. To repatriate to Sierra Leone versus other countries, is it easier? It's hard to say. I mean, I lived in Ghana for 2 years, and because I had a job, I was able to get my residency pretty quickly. But like repatriate, I think it depends on the country, and I think it depends on what you're doing, right? If you come and you're employed by a country in the company, what am I talking about? I have not slept a lot the last 3 days. Okay, this last weekend was epic, which I'll tell you about in a second. So if you are employed by a company in the country, they generally help you get your residency in that country. You get a work permit, right? So like a work permit or work residency, whatever you might call it. So that tends to happen when you have a job at a company within the country. If you don't do that, then it's just a little bit more difficult to repatriate or and move to a country. Not that it's like massively difficult, but it depends on what kind of passport you have and what country you're in. So for example, as an American, using an American passport, living in Ghana, for instance, they stamp your passport for a certain amount of time. If you stay beyond that, you have to pay a higher fee than I would having a ECOWAS passport because I'm a passport holder from Sierra Leone. So they stamp my passport and say I can stay for 90 days when I'm in Ghana. If I overstay that, my monthly fee is about $5 a month. If I'm not mistaken, if you are a passport holder from anywhere outside of West Africa, I think the fee is significantly higher. It might be like $15 a month or $30, but I can't remember what the number is. You can look it up online. But those are some of the challenges. I mean, that's not a big deal. But yeah, so it does make it more difficult. So you do want to be able to become a resident sooner than later of that country. But every country is different. So I can only speak to my experience in Ghana and my experience here in Sierra Leone. And I'm a passport holder of Sierra Leone. I'm a dual citizen. So I couldn't tell you specifically what it could be like here. But I can get that answer though. If you want, we can follow up and I can find out for you. Okay. Patrick Real Estate says you should also think about metal corrosion and rust from sea salt water in the air when building by water. That is 100% true. Let me tell you guys something. When I was in Ghana, my hot water heaters, they started to get rust and corrosion around the piping that goes into the hot water heaters. So much so that just one day I had the hot water heater on, and just all of a sudden, just like broke open, and just the water was just spilling everywhere. It was crazy. And so you definitely want to ensure that you find rust proof, which I was told these were rust proof screws, rust proof things. I don't know what rust proof is because it didn't seem to stop the rust. And there was leaks and all kinds of other things. It's their problem now, but yeah, definitely you need to think about that when you're building by the water for sure. Lady Jane 57s says, how about retirement in Ghana? I mentioned this on the last live. I definitely want to have someone who has retired in Ghana. I know someone in particular, actually, that I've been in communication with. I'd love for her to tell her experience because she just retired and she moved to Ghana. She's also a Sierra Leonean citizen. I should say a dual citizen with Sierra Leone and the United States. She came and got her citizenship the same time Sengbe did, who was commenting earlier. And she moved to Ghana. So I'd love to have her on and have her tell her experience. I can tell you the best way I can describe it, I think it's like when people say I want to retire and move to the Caribbean. It's very similar to that, right? The idea of being in a tropical place, out of the rat race, but obviously there are certain things that your creature comforts are not all there, right? So you have to take the good with the bad. Okay, so let me see if there's any other questions, comments, or thoughts. Let's see. HM Carla says this is good information. Thank you. EJ Firearms says, is that where the diamonds come from? You're talking about in Sierra Leone. So Sierra Leone does have diamond mining for sure. That is probably our most precious metal here in this country. Obviously the movie Blood Diamond is based on a fictional character, but speaks to what was happening during the Civil War here in Sierra Leone. There have been songs that have been about it. When people want to talk about diamonds, they mention Sierra Leone. Like, for instance, the song Diamonds Are Forever, the remix, Kanye starts the song, with the line, little is known of Sierra Leone and how it connects to the diamonds we own. Are they blood diamonds, Jacob? Don't lie to me, man, that whole thing. Blood diamonds, yes. So Sierra Leone is known for that. When people ask about Sierra Leone, that's one of the things that they talk about, like, do you see diamonds? I remember there was a village where my great grandmother, my grandfather's mother was from a village where they said that, when they would bathe in the river, they would find diamonds. Now it sounded like, I don't know how true that is, but that's what they used to tell us when I first came. I was like, man, I need to go for a swim then. I did not see any diamonds though when I went over to the river. So, but yes, Sierra Leone is known for that. Yes, for sure. Kay says, any information you can give is much appreciated about repat to Sierra Leone. I would want to start a business there if possible, food industry. Okay, well, yeah, just reach out to me via email. Have I shared my email before? At gmail.com. Anyway, there's a little bit of a typo there at the very end. No, it's not. Actually, it's just fine. So yeah, take that. Just check my email there. It's here. Email's here. Authentic African. Nope, that's not how it is spelled. I typed it really fast. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put a ticker up with my email on the screen, and you can just check out my email there. That just makes it easier. Disregard the comment because there was a typo. I typed it really fast and pressed enter. Patrick says there are special materials for building close to the water. There you go, especially salt water, I would imagine. Kay says, and thank you for giving the information so far. No problem. Always happy to help. Kay Briggs is saying, how does Sierra Leone tax you as a dual citizenship if they're of there and the US? So tax in, okay, actually, here's how it works. The United States taxes you, or would like you to pay taxes, I should say, wherever you are, plus in the United States, right? So you have to pay, you have to, if you, whatever state you are, you have to pay federal taxes. Sorry, you don't have to pay state taxes in the States if you don't have a residence in the States, but you have to pay federal taxes in the States. And then you do have to pay taxes in whatever country you're in, right? So that's not just specific to Sierra Leone, that's anywhere. Now, Sierra Leone charges you tax on, you know, when you have a job here, you pay your taxes. If you have a business, you pay your yearly taxes. But that's how taxes work here. You pay either your yearly taxes for your business or your job takes taxes out of your check, just like how the States does. But the thing about living in the States and living elsewhere, you do have to pay federal income tax. And then whatever country you're in definitely is going to charge you their version of tax. So keep that in mind if working on a continent. Sharon says that's a great question. I thought so too. Let's see. Patrick says, Kay, I suggest you visit before deciding what opportunities to delve into. You can also do some market research like population size, income per capita, and cost of doing business, etc. Good, all good points. And Kay says, gotcha, thanks. Cool. Any other questions? Let's see. Let's look at Instagram, see if there's any other questions. I see some familiar faces. What's up to everybody who I know on Instagram? Do you have anything in Nigeria? I do not have any land or anything in Nigeria as of yet, or in Ghana. The plan is to buy land in Nigeria and in Ghana. Where specifically in each country, I don't know yet, but in the next couple of years, that's the plan, just to buy land, even if I just buy land and sit on it. But I do want to buy land and own a piece of land in those two countries as well, because obviously they're developing faster, growing populations, growing expat community. You have real estate, you can always have a potential source of income. It's an asset that you can sell. So I definitely recommend it. Okay. Kay Briggs says, so if I'm not working in Sierra Leone but receiving income from the U.S., does Sierra Leone tax that passive income from the U.S.? No, they do not. No, they do not tax. That's a good question. I am not a tax professional, but as far as I know, they do not. They do not. They the way I think it works is you really only pay taxes for the income you generate in Sierra Leone, right? So if you generate income elsewhere, it's like if you're on vacation, right? Like you have your job in the States, you go on vacation, you pay your taxes, you pay your federal and state income taxes in the States, you're on vacation in that other country, you don't pay taxes for that because you're generating your income there. If you're generating income in country, then you do pay taxes in country. So I hope that helps. Let me know, Kay, if that helps. Knowledge Seeker says, don't build your homes near water. You are better off building a submarine if you want to live beside the beach. Your own personal Noah's Ark. Interesting. Zainabu, what's up? Zainab, this is my cousin Zainab. Hey, cuz, what's up, Zainab? Zainab was running for office here in Sierra Leone. And, you know, I'm here now, Zainab. We need to catch up. I live in Sierra Leone now. We haven't caught up since I've moved back. We definitely need to talk. So Zainab is involved in a number of different things. She is someone who's lived in New York and is head of a nurses organization. Don't get me to calling it incorrectly, Zainab, I'm sorry. But very passionate about nursing and ensuring that nurses here get all the support they need. And she's really, really big on that. Like I've seen the passion up close and in person. So in fact, Zainab was on that trip. If you guys saw my video where I went to Buns Island, the slave castle here in Sierra Leone, Zainab was there. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's the Sierra Leone Nurses Association. So that is Zainab's like heart and soul, what she's really focused on. But she's also here in Sierra Leone, so we definitely have to catch up. Then let's definitely catch up, Zainab. I think I have your number. I'm gonna message you on my on WhatsApp with my salon number. Okay. Okay, K Bridge says, thanks for the information because some countries do tax any income you have, even if not made in that country, but usually only when you become a citizen or become a legal long-term resident. Yeah, I mean, look, I am speaking off the cuff. So if anybody knows any different, definitely let me know. But from what I understand, that is the case. But that's all things that I'm looking into just to be 100% sure. But Kate, definitely message me on the side if you want to talk more details on all this stuff, because I have resources that I can point you to if you need specifics. Patrick Real Estate says, here are some tax breaks and exemptions available for expats. There we go. Look, I love all the good content and information that people offer. So foreign earned income exclusion. This exclusion allows expats to exclude up to $102,000 of their foreign earned income from their taxable income. That means in the United States tax system. Is that what you're saying? Foreign earned income exclusion. So you can, okay. So I'm guessing there's a form you have to fill out, but yeah. There's also a foreign housing exclusion. The exclusion allows expats to exclude up to $36,000 in cost of housing they pay while living abroad. Now that's specific to Americans living abroad, right, Patrick? I just want to make sure we're clear on that. That sounds like American language, and you have American dollar sign, US dollar. So I would imagine this is American. This is to the United States. So yeah. There's some more stuff. Okay, so Zainab is asking, how do I feel about the cotton tree falling? I did mention this a little earlier today and last Friday, and I think it's sad. It's a symbol of Sierra Leone, so it's really sad to see that it's fallen. I'm actually going to do some content on this. Can you guys hear that dog? Can you guys hear that dog? So, it's going off right now. Sorry, guys. It's not my dog. Security for the compound. It's the compound security. That's the compound security. In Sierra Leone, a lot of people have dogs in their compound to act as security. It's a deterrent from thieves. Okay, so yeah, but I'm gonna do a video on design for sure, and I'm gonna be putting it out to talk about the cotton tree overall and my feelings and all that kind of stuff. I'm definitely gonna do that. All right. Roots Farm says, I'm a big fan currently watching from London. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've reached out to you, but haven't received a reply yet. Can you drone footage of my land in Jonah Bay? I'm willing to pay. Where did you reach out? Was it email or on Instagram? Because did you DM me or did you email me? Let me know. Because my inbox is kind of full. Both inboxes are kind of full right now. So I'm slowly but surely getting to all my emails. If you can imagine, they're a little crazy. But I do have a drone I have access to. And so more than happy to get drone footage from you, for you. All right, just send another email. So it's at the top of my inbox. Can you just reply to that email and just do like update in the subject line? So it's the top of my inbox, and let's definitely talk. Okay, foreign tax credit. The foreign income credit foreign housing exclusion, and then there's the foreign tax credit from Patrick. This credit allows expats to offset their U.S. tax liability with taxes they paid to the foreign government. Nice. But Patrick also says, but always speak with your professional CPA. So Zainab is saying, and everyone's situation is unique, especially I think in terms of the tax situations. Thanking Pat, because I think Pat's been given a lot of good insight. Patrick says, yes, American citizens living abroad. Zainabu says, or Zainab says, it speaks volumes about us also as Sierra Leoneans. Yes, the country. K Brick says, when will you be posting your tours? I want to visit and learn about my Mende people. So you mean, okay, tours. Do you mean in particular like tours of hotels, or tours that I've done? So I haven't actually done a tour with like African ancestry or one of these groups as of yet. We're talking about it. Different groups I'm talking to. I am going to work on doing a tour with Dory from Stafford Lodge. Um I like what they do, and they're just a great group of folks, and they own a hotel here, and they're one of the few that is Sierra Leone, and I think one of the only that is managed by a Black American. She married, they're a married couple that run the hotel. It's called Stafford Lodge. It's across from Orange Telecom's headquarters on, I don't know the name of that road. Sorry, but it's on the way to Regent. Um, but yeah, so I do want to go on a tour with them and film the tour. Roots. Oh, you messaged me on Instagram. Okay, Roots. That inbox is way more full than my email because I give the email out here, and so less people here actually see the email. So Roots Farm, if you can email me, I think I'm more likely to be able to get back to you sooner on email than if you hit me on Instagram. That inbox is crazy full, and I'm the only one going through it. I don't have my social media manager going through it because there are personal and business related messages there, and I just don't want them responding to the wrong messages with the wrong information. So I'm going through all of it. So I prefer that you email me at the email there on the screen, and I'll definitely get back to you within the next week and a half or so. I know it's a long time, but I just want to manage expectations. Zion says, I know I went through three names for Zainab. Zion says we need Zainabu says we need more 20s to 40-year-olds to try to move here with their own crew and make salon work. Who are you telling? I'm with you. I am with you. But that's what we're doing, right? That's what we're here. So, okay, so Zainab, so I wanted to mention this before too. So Zainab is running for a member of parliament for 2023. Oh, wow. The Honorable Zainabu has been nominated. So shout out to Zainabu because you've been nominated. That's a big deal. That is a really big deal. So shout out to you. She's been doing a lot of work here, guys. Like the Sierra Leone Nurses Association. I've seen Zainab do fundraisers for it. I've seen her, you know, like advocate for it. I've seen it throughout the years, and she's been consistent about it. And then, you know, what she's trying to do here and the work she's trying to do, and being a Sierra Leonean who's lived in the diaspora. Zainab is a family member. I think we're related technically, but you know the whole thing when you have half siblings and their family may not be your family, but we're like family. And we went to the same boarding school back in the day. So I've known Zainab forever. So shout out to Zainab. And she says, appreciate the shout out. Of course, always. But he would be great, be a great tour, and you can visit one of your villages. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that actually. I'm thinking I'll probably, I want to do a tour, you know, and I want to do like a professional tour of different cities, or, you know, different municipalities here in Sierra Leone. That's the goal. Now that I live here, just as time goes on, these things will happen. I'm going to do more Sierra Leone related content. Patrick says you should really consider hosting a tour. It'd be a good way to generate capital for other business ventures. Yeah, I know this is something that's come up before. Not all money is good money, but I do get it. I think it's not for everybody. So a tour, the challenges with tours are they're capital intensive, and there are so many things that are not in your control, and the people on those tours don't know that, even if you express that as much as and as often as you can. And you know, certain things can get thrown off. So I prefer that I partner with people who are throwing tours or who are doing tours, and I work with them on an affiliate basis or a revenue share basis. So you know, as I mentioned before, millions have been made through middlemen, And so I prefer to be the bridge between the person who's looking for a tour and the person who's offering the tour. And I just connect the two. And by making that connection, I do a revenue share with the person offering the tour. But yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to recommend tours as I go on tours. There's a tour in Kenya I've talked about. There's or event in Kenya I've talked about. There's some tours happening here locally, some stuff happening in Ghana. And so I'm in talks with different groups to be able to bring this stuff. And I'm also looking at other countries as well. There's a company I'm talking to later this week that goes to Ghana, Egypt, South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, a number of different places. And I'm talking to them about some of the tours that they do and potentially bringing that to you all. So stay tuned because there's a lot going on in the coming weeks where we can talk about, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Kay Briggs says, you mentioned in another video that you would be doing tours in Sierra Leone of yourself and guide for oh no okay no so I was saying a tour guide, not doing tours. So sorry, no I said I'm doing a guide, so a travel guide. To be clear, I am doing travel guides in different countries, but I'm actually not doing tours. I would go on tours with other companies that are doing tours, and I will film their tours, but I'm not going to be running my own tours. So I think that might have been a little bit confusing. I know other people have asked me to do tours, and I've said what I just said just like within the last 5 minutes. So I won't be doing tours myself, but I definitely will be going on tours. And I will also be doing travel guides and making sure travel guides are available. So what I mean by travel guide is like, what are the 5 best hotels? What are the best Airbnbs? What are the best places to eat at? And not only just the best places, where, why, how much, here's how you can book them, all of that. Those things are all coming. But I'm not actually doing tours myself. Just not for me. Just not for me. I understand that it might make sense for somebody who does content to do tours. And I know like 7 or 8 different people who have platforms, like YouTube platforms that do tours. Just not for me. That's something that I'm ready or willing to do at the moment. Hopefully that makes more sense. Tiggy says, my biggest concern with moving or spending a significant amount of time in Sierra Leone is the healthcare system. What are your thoughts and concerns living in Sierra Leone? This, for some reason, was some kind of controversial issue last time I talked about this. So I'm of 2 minds, right? I mean, there's a lot of discussions about Black women in America and the mortality rate with them having children because of not being believed when they talk about they're in pain, right? Or just not being taken seriously. And so there is a serious concern in America, higher than other groups, but still much lower than here when it comes to that. Many people that I know who get major procedures done leave the country to get those major procedures done, right? I've known people who've gotten dental work done in Nigeria. I just talked to somebody this week that said they had dental work done in Nigeria. I know someone who went to the States to get treatment for some internal issue. But yeah, many people leave the country to get major treatment. So I think it really depends on your current medical status, what your potential ailments are, and what your primary care physician and your specialist would tell you in the States about what's available, or you just making sure you navigate those waters by making sure you're prepared, right? You should know what your situation is. So for me, I don't have any major illnesses or disorders, right? I do have a blood disorder technically, but it's minor, and like I won't bleed out if I get cut. Even if I get a major cut, it's unlikely that I'll just like bleed out. It is a concern of my hematologist, but I've been cut pretty deep before. I cut my finger on a knife in Ghana, like a pretty deep cut, and I was fine. So I would say that, it just depends on what you're dealing with, right? Like if you're someone who's generally healthy, then you're generally healthy anywhere. Then you don't you just go for your your general physicals twice a year with your primary care physician. I think you're fine, right? In general. Um, but yeah, I mean, I knew someone who had a kidney stones, and they had someone bring in a remedy from the states for their kidney stones because whatever was available to them here didn't seem to be working. So yeah, I mean, I think there are certain instances where it makes sense, and I mentioned this before. When it comes to for me, when it comes to any major surgeries, I've had two knee surgeries. One done at Penn State Medical Center, and not by choice, but because of where I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, having going to boarding school there. It was the Hershey's Penn State Medical Center, so that's where I went. But that's a pretty good medical center. When I was an adult and had knee surgery, I went to a high end doctor, I guess surgeon, who focuses. I can't remember what you call it, a surgeon that works on knees and legs or whatever, who had worked on like Russell Westbrook and other people, and that was in Los Angeles, California, right? So for me, when it comes to my health, I do try to go to the people who are the foremost experts in that particular field, right? That's just what I do. I think it's up to you to decide what works most for your own personal health, but that's how I do things. All right. Tiki saying congrats to Zainab. Zainab saying opportunities here create platforms for growth, worth the risk, and you're appreciated. Yes, that is very true. Nene says all the best to Zainab. Patrick Real Estate says you contact Maximum Impact with Jay. You two make good partners. Funny you say that. I am in communication with Jay and Maximum Impact. Thanks to Leslie Jones, actually. Leslie Jones had posted that she had become an affiliate with Maximum Impact. And so I reached out to her and she put me in touch with Jay. So I'm in communications with Jay and Maximum Impact for sure. Pro Woman J says, oh, Kenya and Masa said they may do a tour too. You talked with them lately? I have talked with them lately, yes. If I go to Ghana in this next couple of weeks, as I'm supposed to be, but the tickets are looking crazy expensive right now. I will be meeting up with them and probably shooting some content as well. But more to come on that. I know you guys like Kenya and Masa, and so I have to bring them back on the channel. It feels weird being so far away. They were far away within the realms of being in Accra, but they're really far away now that I'm here in Sierra Leone. They're like my sisters on the continent. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So Patrick Real Estate says you should contact. Okay. Yeah. I think I already posted. I guess I had already posted that on the screen. 24 caught the live. What's up, 24? 24, you're a character, man. Somebody was reading your comments before and cracking up, messaging me about somebody had read your comments on a couple of lives and on a couple of posts and made sure to mention it to me. Okay, Zainab was giving you some pros and cons of, or at least pros of living in Sierra Leone. So affordable and friendly cost of living. Sierra Leone's cost of living is relatively inexpensive, with housing, food, and transportation being very affordable. Additionally, Sierra Leone is home to many friendly people who will make expats feel welcome. I agree to all of those things. Beautiful natural landscapes. Sierra Leone is known for its lush green rainforests and stunning beaches. There are plenty of outdoor activities to do and stunning sights to see. Look at Zainab being a true what do you call it? True advertiser of Sierra Leone. Rich culture. So there is opportunity to work and play in our home country, which would be another step to finding out who we really are. Yes, Salon people like enjoyment. We like enjoyment in Salon. So yeah, for sure. All of those things are true that Zainab just mentioned. So thank you for that. Okay, Miss S says, while I was there in the past November, I visited that hospital. I don't know the name. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the hospital. It didn't seem that bad, but I could see people seeking out medical care in the States or UK. Yeah, I mean, and there's a clinic, which reminds me, I gotta make a note to myself. There's a hospital that was built that I need to talk to the person who runs the hospital, and I'm just making a note to myself that I need to reach out to the person who runs that hospital so that I can, yeah, so that I can share them with you all. And then it says, yeah, y'all better please vote Zainab in. Yes. If you're in her region, right? I mean, Pro Women's J says off topic. You watching NBA Finals? How about those Heat? NBA interest in Salon. I know two people who are into the NBA here. I don't stay up to watch the games. I mean, we're off on a tangent, so why not? I don't stay up to watch the games because it's way too late. But I will say this. For two selfish reasons, I don't want the Heat to win a championship. I want Denver to win because I don't like people messing with LeBron's legacy. And so if the Heat win, then I don't have as strong of a case to say how well he's been able to do without coaches that have won another championship without him. Obviously, if the Heat win and Eric Spoelstra does it with the team that he has, Jimmy Butler's the best person on your team, and you win a championship, that means you're a really, really good coach. One of probably the best in the NBA. So, yeah. So that's my own selfish reasons, but congrats to him. I did meet Eric Spoelstra once. He was a really nice guy, really, really good people. He's good. He's good friends with a friend of mine's family. So yeah, he's really, really nice person though. Really humble guy, like NBA championship coach twice with D Wade and LeBron, and he's like you wouldn't know, like if you met him, you wouldn't know that that's like what he's done. Not a ton. Okay, Patrick says, for minor medical needs, local facilities can handle checkups, blood work, etc. Major procedures may require traveling to Dubai, Europe, or another African country, or maybe even the States. Highly Favorite said, hold up, I didn't get my notification. Yeah, people keep telling me they're not getting notifications when I go live. I would maybe just do this. When you go back to the subscribe again, maybe hit some and then hit all again. So change from some to all, or change to, I don't know what it is, but just change to all, back and forth from to all, and just that might ensure that you get them. Okay, so I said not a ton, but Zainab is saying yes. We have NBA Africa president is a Sierra Leonean. Okay, Victor Williams, I didn't know that the NBA Africa president is a Sierra Leonean. Wow, I need to get him in an interview ASAP. Zainab, if you know him, let me know. Good evening, hosts. Good evening. What's up, highly favored? Zainab saying tons of basketball talent here, just lack of exposure. We had a b-ball initiative here from 2017, just tough for them. Yeah, so there is a basketball court. I should mention this. There is a basketball court on Lumley Beach Road. One thing I will say that's different here in my experience in the countries that I've traveled to in West Africa is the way football/soccer is here is the way basketball is in inner cities in the States, right? So like, like you can drive past any driveway and there's like a stand-up basketball hoop in the States, or like in New York, they used to use the crates. They cut out the bottom of the crate and people would like shoot on the crate on telephone poles, or like there are basketball courts everywhere. That applies to football/soccer here, right? Like even walking to the location I'm in right now, these kids were kicking around a plastic bottle as if it was a soccer ball. They were like playing each other one-on-one. And so, yeah, I mean, but there is basketball talent in this country. It is something that is growing in popularity for sure. We do have local games, and it does happen. It's just something that just needs time to grow and develop. it requires more because unlike soccer, you do have to have a hoop. Ideally, you have a full court, um, and so or like flat ground to play on, and a ball that you can bounce, right? So that just there's some things that are required to actually just play the sport. Um, Fun fact: I was actually pretty good at basketball myself, but I was advised never to play again after 2 knee surgeries, so I had to give up the dream. Um, but yeah, highly favored said Mende by tribe, but Brooklyn raised me up. Nice. Um, East Patrick Real Estate says East Africa is ahead of the West when it comes to professional basketball, so it seems. Okay, cool. All right, we have now hit the hour and 10-minute mark. I know I've been answering questions. This last weekend was pretty epic. Oh, I was supposed to tell you guys about this last weekend. So I want to shout out Mellow7, Leanne, and Yeneva for the brunch in Freetown, the brunching crew. That brunch felt like brunch in LA, brunch in New York. I've done many a brunch in New York and LA, and this brunch in Freetown felt just like that. Some expats were there, some Sierra Leoneans were there, and it was overall a really, really good time. And you guys are gonna get a chance to see the vlog of it sometime in the near future. But it was really good. It was really lit, as the kids say. So I definitely recommend if you're in town when one of the brunches happen, you go to that brunch. Do not miss the brunch. So Zainab's sharing Victor Williams' information. Zainab, can you send that to me separately on WhatsApp? For sure. Okay. Cool. All right, guys. I'm tired. I'm gonna try to get at least 8 hours of sleep tonight, and I have to travel back home. I'm trying to see if my car is available. If not, then it's gonna be a little bit more difficult because I have to travel with that ring light behind me or behind you. Okay, but I think we're gonna call it a night, guys. I'm dead tired, and I got a long day ahead of me. So I want to thank you guys all for joining, as always. In the coming weeks, I promise I'm going to do a video on solar. It has to happen sometime soon. I know you guys have been asking about that. And I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated on what my life has been like here in Sierra Leone. If you have any questions or thoughts, comments, please let me know at the email that you're going to see scrolling across the screen right here, right there, if you're on YouTube. And a couple things too. There was something else I wanted to say, and I completely lost my train of thought because I have not had enough sleep. Oh, I want to shout out a couple people. So I want to shout out again Manelik and Zoiva for both doing the timestamps. If you guys see timestamps on these lives, there's somebody who is watching the lives all the way through to the end and putting timestamps on anytime the subject changes or anytime there's a comment. They are putting timestamps on everything. And so I want to give a big shout out to both Menelik and Zoiva for doing that over the last few weeks, because you guys are a great help. And I also want to shout out in particular my man Victor Batista, for the support on the channel. Really and truly appreciate it. Every little bit counts, and you guys know I put a lot of time, money, energy, and effort into these platforms, and anybody who supports, if you can, is greatly appreciated. So Vic, I want to shout you out for the support once again. You're always supporting the channel, and I really appreciate you. Okay, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining. I am dead tired. Everybody's saying good night. So Zainab saying good night. Highly favored saying good night and thank you. Thank you for joining. CDH Education, how dare you say let's go Heat? No, it's all good. Says let's go Heat basketball. And Sharon Gooding saying goodnight. Blessings, everyone. And of course, new people are joining live. Okay, guys, if you're joining live, watch the replay. Watch the replay to get the full story for everything we talked about today. Comment, hit the thumbs up, and make sure you guys subscribe. Share this with anybody you know who's planning on visiting Sierra Leone anytime soon. Tiggy says, thanks for the information, Joe. God bless and take care. Well, thank you guys. And with that, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you all on the next video.